Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Kuttin Krew episode 4. Yay.
Yeah.
All right. It's been a while, you guys. We apologize, but hey, we came back better than ever. We did.
Of course we did.
All right. Well, let's do a quick introduction. To my left, we brought back the original.
Oh, me? I'm the OG?
Yes,
I
you
like
are.
it. Da-da-da-da-da. What's going on, everybody? It's your man, LT.
You got Joel sitting right here.
Taylor.
Your boy Brent.
Brianna.
Welcome back, you guys. I'm really glad that we're here. I just want to give a quick shout out to all the people that have supported us. I want to thank my family. I want to thank LT for coming back. Lord knows that I'm happy you're back.
Oh, man. It's good to be
Absolutely.
back. Good to be back.
Just trying to throw little things over the top.
Yeah, just all the people listening, friends, family. Shout out to y'all.
Shout out to my 8-month-old son, Axel. Love you, son.
That's cute. So I got back from Cancun a couple weeks ago. I was with my family, so I think that made me realize how much I actually liked them. So shout out to the fam bam. Love you, Griffins.
All right, you guys. Well, again, thank you again for coming back. So it's been a long time, but let's go ahead and discuss on episode 4. We decided to do something called the dangers of social media. And I want to kick it off with you, Taylor. I'm going to give you some facts here. So according to Media Kicks, it states here that 3.1 billion people are social media users worldwide. What do you think about that, Taylor?
3.1 billion. That is almost half, 1 out of every 2 people in the world. That's, when you think about it, it's great because so many more people are able to be connected. 10, 15 years ago, we couldn't do that. That's awesome. There's pros and cons that we're going to look into here in a bit, but I just like the fact that we're so much more connected.
I agree. What about you, Bree?
That's a really big number. Pointing out the obvious here. But, people in my generation, I feel like it's not even surprising to me that it would be that big of a number. There's, new things popping up all the time. I personally don't have TikTok, but I know a ton of people who do. So just stuff, if you don't have one, you have another. So it's, not even surprising.
On that, Brent, it's kind of funny that through the years of technology, how's technology evolved? Now we've gotten to the point where we can just communicate with our friends and loved ones on multiple apps, and it's just amazing to see how fast how technology has grown just to be able to communicate. Do you use anything to communicate with your friends and family outside?
Yeah, Facebook. Both of my grandmothers still living. They are on Facebook, so they send me messages, and half the time I'm like, okay, Grandma,
Got a lot of DMs, don't you?
why are you awake at 11 o'clock? But yeah, I use pretty much Facebook, Snapchat. I guess I got a little bit of young soul in me. But we're looking at that 3.1 billion people on social media. I kind of probably need to get my friends up on Facebook. I'm lacking on that.
That 3.1 is actually, it seems a little low to me. I had an almost 100-year-old grandma that passed away last year. She was on Facebook for the last 10 years going up to that.
Are you kidding me? My aunt comments on all of my pictures and all of my statuses.
Yeah.
Why?
My
Why?
75-year-old dad uses Facebook like a teenage girl, I say, because it's everywhere. On everything.
Well, yeah, and that's amazing and it's astonishing. And on the flip side of that is, according to Mixed Kicks, Media Kicks, they're stating here that it's estimated that 2.2 million people are actually, it states here that they are suffering from internet and social media addictions here. Now, on the addictions itself, I get it. We love to communicate and we're reaching out to people. But LT, on this, how do you feel about that there is a dark side to this?
Well, that's just a consequence of, the marketing strategies. And there's been good research. Harvard and, Stanford, they show that they basically use those psychological studies, how, for instance, when you get a notification on Facebook, you hear the bell. Ding. Mm-hmm. These are all classic psychological studies. So they do things that give you a dopamine hit. And that dopamine hit is what keeps people coming back. I know personally, because I'm so invested with my, my companies and everything on the internet, I wouldn't say that I'm addicted, but I'm kind of borderline obsessed because I'm constantly checking, seeing where I'm at, seeing what's the new trend. I kind of have an excuse because I need to know, I need to be in the know, but there's also a lot of people that they just live for that.
What about you, Chris?
Yeah, there's a lot of different things that are addicting that, depending on how you use it, can be good or bad. Gambling, drug addictions, but it's okay to go out and have a couple of drinks if you can do it responsibly. You can, it's okay to go and like a couple things or put some posts out there if you do it responsibly. It's that obsession of it's all you think about, it's all you spend your time doing. There is a lot of people though that use it for their business. And that's where you get into some sticky grounds, especially when your business is you, possibly for trendsetters, types of people like that are on the apps all the time, and anything that's addictive. And they do have people that there's a human factors at WSU. It's a course that people follow. It was close to another course my wife did, and they study and see how long does it take before someone lets go of their obsession on that click, and make sure they get a notification before that happens so that they can get that rush and go in there and spend more time. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of time, money, and information that goes into getting more and more clicks.
And by the way, to our audience, WSU is our hometown, Wichita State University.
Yeah, sorry.
So I don't want someone from Washington State get upset. I'm just throwing it out there. But on that, speaking of that, on the teen side, did you know, you guys, that it's recorded that teens who spend 5 hours a day on their phone are twice as likely to show depressive symptoms? So on that, Bree, has something that ever happened to you before where you're on your phone and you're not getting the ding, or you're not getting a notification? Have you ever experienced anything like that?
Have you ever seen any of my posts? I always get likes. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Boom. Yeah, of course. I know it was brought up that people make a livelihood out of freaking social media, posting things like getting the most likes, being verified. That's crazy. So the 2.21 million people that are obsessed, yeah, half of those probably are the people who are making money from social media. So they're always constantly having to post, and then you have to find the perfect time to post, because if you do it in the morning, not enough people are awake, maybe not a lot of people are going to see your stuff. Just so you have to think about the right time to do everything, the best time that people are going to be on. So probably after school, after work, when they're laying in bed, before, just stuff like that. So yes, I have been known a couple of times when I was in high school, which would be my teen years, to delete stuff when I posted it because it wasn't a good time, and then posting it later and getting more likes. So yes, there have been times when I did not get the proper amount of likes that I knew I deserved. so I had to do.
Know your worth, girl. Know your worth.
Well, what about you, Taylor? Since you're kind of the young one here, what experiences have you had?
Yeah, I can agree with that. I wouldn't consider myself a heavy social media user, but just using it in general. I feel like if you put your self-worth into that kind of thing and you don't get the results that you're hoping for, it can play a factor in, how you view yourself, your self-confidence. So yeah, I think that while social media isn't inherently a bad thing, just use it with your best judgment.
And duly noted on that. And see, in our times, we used to have, I don't know if our audience ever had these, but in our times, remember in the early 2000s when we had the Nokia phones, when we could decorate the phones on those. In that time, we didn't have that kind of, all we had was just text.
Snake. You play Snake.
Playing the Snake game.
I love Snake.
But during that time,
Sprint had Crab Catch.
Crab Catch, yeah. That was legit.
But see, in my time, I recall that when the phone would and then would get the vibrate going on, and then the lights would flash, it's because the text was coming. And at that time, I thought it was nothing. But you just notice that when you have your phone there, you're just checking to see who's texting. You're checking the phone, and that. I do kind of agree on that. I mean, you get, when no one's hitting you up all day, you're like, where's my friends at? Why is my girl not calling me? Why? So you see a trend that, because you're getting addicted to having that phone on you. But
let me interject.
Yeah,
Does anybody experience phantom phone syndrome? You know how there's phantom limb syndrome, like people like lose a limb.
I experience it while my phone is in my hand, and I'll be like, "Why is my leg ringing?"
Yeah, definitely.
what about you, Brent?
I don't know about that part. I'm kind of looking through some of the stuff we talked about and going back to it. I mean, it's not surprising to me that teens are 2 times more likely to be depressed. I mean, scrolling through my Facebook, it's a lot of depressing stuff, political stuff, whether from the left or the right, just people that are sick. It could be a pretty depressing, situation for anybody, not just teens. So, me personally, I get on there. I'm the creeper. I don't post a lot of stuff, but I'm in everybody's business, and it's kind of like people watching
That's
to me. And I really enjoy that, because then I can look at my life and say, man, I'm doing okay.
I'm with you, man.
Yeah.
Oh, and elaborating on that too, and this is astonishing too. When I was going through the research, they concluded that when they get likes and comments, what happens is it's the same, and reiterate what LT said, it's a dopamine effect, and it's almost like, and I'm not saying the same effects because I don't know, but it says here that the dopamine is such a good high, it's almost like someone doing drugs. I mean, can you believe that, Chris? I mean, it's...
Well, sure. But what I'm even more concerned about is the reverse of that, the negative, like those likes and the good comments. Sure, those feel like drugs. It takes you to such a high level that it's equivalent to cocaine or something like that you're talking about. But then you have the flip side of that, which is those negative comments, and maybe you only get 1 or 2, but man, those are just as worse, maybe even take you further low than positive takes you high. Like, one bad comment can ruin 1,000 likes. I don't know what the quite the right ratio is, but I'm sure it's somewhere near that.
So that's like getting some bad drug, but then let's just talk about...
Don't take the brown sheets.
Let's think about like not getting any of that drug at all. And so now you have the effects of withdrawal.
Yeah,
That's a good point. Yeah, I mean, listen, everybody feels good when they get that like. I'm the creeper, so I don't get as many likes, but... I can see that. When I post a picture of my son up, I post a picture of me or something I'm doing, people don't care about that. I post a picture of my son, it's like ding, 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 ding. When it does feel good. So.
Yeah, indeed. There was a time where I would get up in the morning and check my Facebook. I would check all these things, and gradually through time, I just noticed, like, why am I getting caught up in this? I was like, it's okay to put the things that you're doing and stay in touch with your friends and loved ones. But on that being said, I kind of just noticed I need to take a break from this. And through that, I learned that, hey, I don't have to always share my things on social media, especially Facebook. If you want to know about me, you know where to find me. I mean, that's my take on it. But I want to turn this over to Bree real quick, because, again, the research states here that single females, just according to Media Kicks, it states here that they're more addicted to social media than any other group in their study group. So on that, Bree, do you agree, disagree? What's your opinion on that?
Okay. Again, not surprising. Like I've said before, think of all the social media influencers, how big they've actually become throughout the past couple of years because, you know, before YouTube influencers were like, what is that? Now, like, they're making bank. They're making millions of dollars just by posting their lives.
Bona fide celebrities.
Exactly.
Many of them.
A lot of them have no talent. They're just post their life and they're pretty. So it's great for them. Hey, yeah. But then there's also the people who want to be like them. They're, hey, how did you get to where you are? Let me go ahead and check that out. Or like celebrities, social media has made it way more accessible for us to be able to like know, like think that we know them, so we can follow them on Snapchat, we can follow their Instagram. They're always posting on Twitter, you know, so you want to know what your favorite celebrities are up to. You want to know who, I had a crush on Nick Jonas when I was in high school. So if social media was a big thing back then, I would not only go to his concert, but I would also be tweeting him, you know, like just like stuff like that, you know, like it's, yeah, like you just, as girls, you want to know how you can feel as a young girl. You want to know how you can feel more included. You want to know how you can be more liked. You want to know how you can get more of those likes, get more of those followers, get more people to I guess in a sense care about you online. Not that it matters much because you don't really know them in person, but you know, it's a whole new conversation.
Well, that being said, Bree, do you feel that that's more in a sense about validation, that you need that validation, that you have to see who's liking you, who's paying attention to you? Would you consider that being maybe that's the reason why they do what they do?
I mean, validation, yes, but also like I think they want to make themselves better in their opinion. So how do I get from, in my opinion, I don't know, from like a 7 to a 10? How do I do that? Well, these celebrities have figured out how to do this, and I really like them. I like their music. I like what they say. I think that they're funny. They can be real, you know, like, you know, all this stuff that you think. So like, if they can do that, then I can do that. Like, how do I become more like them? I'm not from experience or anything. I'm just saying.
Exactly. Well, and now we're going to change a little bit the gears on that. And another thing that we found out is that, according to the surveys, 71% of the people sleep with or next to their mobile phones. Chris, I mean, are you that guy that has a phone right next to your bed?
Yeah, because it's also my alarm clock.
Okay.
So
Right.
kind of have to,
noted.
it's not there, definitely not for a social media purpose.
Or checking your fantasy app, or like,
No. Actually, I'd read a study where a lot of people go through sleep deprivation type things and having troubles to going to sleep when you're looking at your phone right before bed because the light,
Blue light.
messes with your brain. Basically, like your brain needs darkness to go to sleep.
Right.
Yeah, that's why they have that night light
They have a night
on the phone.
version on there.
It's-
so I don't know.
They have
sensory.
like a yellowy orange.
Sensory
light.
overload is what it is.
Yep.
So I do keep it by my bed, and I suspect a lot of people that keep it by their bed is, you know, maybe they're for kids or parents, or it's their only phone, and you got to have it near you in case of an emergency. But I did look at some of the stuff that with social media specifically, a lot of people that keep their phone by their bed is because they can't sleep, and that's because of social media anxiety, maybe depression, or just waiting for that next dopamine click. I mean, there's a lot of drug addicts that don't go to sleep either.
Or like you wait for that specific one, so it's not even just any drug. It's like, has
Right,
that
there's-
one drug liked this yet? That's right. They needed to see this.
well, and on that, I mean, so LT, I mean, do you?
Man, to tell you the truth, I sleep. Well, I have multiple phones at the crib. So like, I have one active phone. Then that I have through my service provider. And then at the house, I got Wi-Fi. So I use old phones, and that way I save the battery life on the phone that I actually use for service. So I have multiple phones with multiple social media accounts. That way I'm not changing back and forth, logging in and out of accounts. I have them locked in and just doing it.
Jeez. Well, on this, Taylor, another thing that we found out that it's stated here that 50% of people are driving while using smartphone just to check their social media. So we got people out there driving, not paying attention, but they're concerned about checking their social media while they're driving. So Taylor, what do you think about that?
You know, to be honest, it surprises me initially just because I wouldn't consider myself that type of person. But when you think about it, the amount of people using social media, it really does make sense, whether it's taking Snapchats, updating their status on Facebook. You know, there's so many different ways to express yourself with social media at all times of the day. It really, it's just something that's inevitable at this point.
Okay, so that 50% doesn't surprise me just because I know the amount of people that I've seen taking like videos or Snapchats and posting them on their story while they're driving. I have been guilty of it, so I'm not even going to try to talk down on them right now because I've done it before. But because I am part of that 50%, I mean, you know, don't try to on a regular basis, but like 50%, it kind of seems like.
You know, you have the right to not incriminate yourself.
That's right.
Yeah, my bad. It happened once.
You know what's
I was gonna say it's a road rage issue for me seeing people doing that.
Yeah, you know what's crazy, Carlos, is you and I wouldn't have hooked back up in each other's lives had it not been for social media while I was driving. Remember that?
You know, and that's funny that he said that. So watch. So real quick, I remember, you know, this was back when I was trying to put together the idea of doing our podcast, and I was just going through Facebook, and here's Brent. You know, Brent's over here posting the media. We're just talking while he's driving. I'm like, is this guy really talking while he's driving? So hey, you know, that makes it.
I was going live basically, and I was talking about. So I had my own podcast a long time ago, and I was just really talking about sports, and I got a lot of interaction that way. And then Carlos chimed in, and you know, went back and forth, and I was messaging him, which wasn't safe, you know. But
I have no part of that. Okay,
But
that was all on you.
and I bring that up. It's just crazy how there's a lot of negatives of social media, but there's plenty of positives. You know, if I wouldn't have posted that, then who knows if I'd be sitting here with you guys. So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys, let's take a quick recession on this. I want to thank our following sponsors. Go ahead, Taylor.
So our first sponsor, the Kuttin Krew, would like to thank Sky Trampoline for supporting our podcast. Through the Razor Cut information, Sky Trampoline will give you a $3 off 1 hour pass to the most exciting trampoline park in Kansas.
All right.
Yeah. Use this code located on our website, www.razorcutinfo.com. Also, they offer free admissions for birthday parties for boys and girls. If you want to see more details on specific rates, visit their website at www.skytrampoline.net. And if you have any questions, call Sarah at 785-491-1118 or 785-571-8056.
All right. Thank you, Sky Trampoline.
Thank you.
Okay, we would also like to give a huge shout out to our sponsor, Ernie Ruelas with State Farm. Visit Ernie Ruelas at 11330 East Central Avenue, number 400, Wichita, Kansas, for exclusive detail rates on home, auto, and life insurance. Give them a call at 316-682-2300. I love you, Ernie.
Hey, Ernie.
Yay.
Thank you, guys. I do appreciate it. Well, let's carry on with the conversation here. So let's dive in a little bit deeper on this. Now we're gonna go on the personal side here. So I was doing some research, and I follow Monster.com. They do research and things like that, and I came across a little bit on social media for careers and lifestyle. So LT, you know, when I was doing through it, you know, I know some people do is when they're posting their things. Some do it so they can get jobs, so it enhances their image. So on a professional side, LT, what advice do you give to our audience and listeners to, if they want to go this route using social media, what are the pros and cons that they should do or not do to better their chances of getting a job?
That's a
Or career of choice. I apologize.
That's a loaded question.
Break it down.
I guess it depends on what your career is. This can be your ad space. This is your personal commercial for your life. Me personally, I'm like Brent. I'm the watcher. I'm the creeper, so to speak. I don't have a personal Snapchat account, but I do live vicariously on kind of Snapchat through Vibe Wichita, you know? So I'm not, you know, when I go to certain events and like, I'm not the person that's just, oh, this is me. No, this is me and my company. We're here. So I kind of use that as an excuse now. But I guess it really is tough. You obviously, you know, it's kind of a double standard sometimes too. Like, let's say, for instance, guns in a picture, right? Like some people will say that's a complete no-no, right?
You mean guns as in like Nerf guns?
No, I'm talking about like a firearm.
We knew.
You know, like if you have a firearm, if you have a firearm in your picture, that's kind of a no-no. But we live in Kansas, so this is a open carry state. So, you know, what's an employer gonna say about that? You know, generally
Going to Cabela's, they're probably like, hey, all right.
you know what I'm saying? So,
If you're working at the school, maybe not so much.
right, exactly. So, it depends on what kind of career field that you want to get into.
Okay. And what about you, Taylor?
Yeah, I can definitely agree. It being such a big question, but you know, there's pros and cons depending on what you post. Just, you know, talking with other people, I've known of employers when they're looking for employees to hire, they're always, you know, looking at them, trying to find them on social media, kind of have kind of an image, an idea of what that person's like, and you really get a good idea of that off of, you know, the pictures they post, the status, kind of the you get a good idea of who that person is and who they'll be as an employee. So it's it plays a pretty big part in today's.
Yeah, speaking on that, man, I hire for 10 different locations in Kansas, the place that gives me a lot of my money, I guess I should say. And that's the first thing I do is I look at their social media site and I'm seeing what type of person they are. And I do keep in mind that there's some people that are out there faking the funk. They're portraying something that's really not them. But that still shows a lot about them too. So I see a lot of the character in the social media posts, and you're probably not going to get a call from me if you got some crazy stuff going on, you know.
I had that exact same thing when I would go through and hire people. Whenever I would see their name, I would go through, look them up on Facebook, look them up on Instagram. Not only was I looking for content, but I was also looking at privacy. So do you have everything on public? Can everybody see everything of yours? Or are you more conservative? Or I don't know, like, or do you have, if you have everything public, do I know all about your life without knowing you? Like, just, you know, stuff like that. I would definitely look at. I don't look necessarily at pictures, not, you know, I look at just that.
Yeah, me too. I honestly just looked at how they treated other people too. You know, what were they responding to? How are they treating other people? Because that's big in the workforce.
Can I ask you guys a question from the hiring aspect? Did you get a lot of resumes and stuff where people were putting on, you know, like, you know, usually you'll have your phone number and email, but were they also like Facebook this, Instagram this?
Hardly ever. I would have to hunt for a lot of people.
I deal with a lot of younger people, so I opposite of Bree, I would see that on the resumes.
Is it becoming more common?
It is.
Say?
Yeah, it is.
Like you're saying, like it's your business as yourself.
Yeah. So to answer your question, I did a hiring event a few weeks ago. I blasted it on social media. You know, bring in your resume. You don't have to call us ahead. And I would say out of the 20 people I interviewed, I would say at least half of them had that on their resume. So, do
you notice a difference between their social media and when you have to go find someone's social media?
Oh, for sure. If they put it on a resume, then they're squeaky clean.
Yeah.
It's
I have it on my resume.
Do you think that's a professional social media page and maybe they keep a personal one that they're trying to, or do you think it's just...
I mean, maybe, but I'm not looking that deep. I just want to get a quick characterization of that person, and do I want to even waste my time that's valuable with even calling these people up and interviewing them, or okay, they look good, let's call them in and let's talk face to face. And that brings up another point, which is with social media, a lot of younger people, their face-to-face interactions are really rough. You know, they don't know how to talk to each other face-to-face anymore. And that's something that hopefully, middle school, high schools are starting to recognize, and it's something that they're addressing, because it's pretty shocking to do an interview and just a conversation. You know, they can't have a conversation. So,
so pretty much, just to wrap that question up, so pretty much, Brent, are you saying that if I was the person that was getting ready to apply, and I'm that person, I'm trying to, polish things up. Let's just say I did some things that were questionable, and it was in the past. And are you going to still hold that against me, even if I had these posts before and all this? I mean, are you going to judge me on that?
Listen,
Ball players coming up with that, isn't it?
Right. I have a belief that everybody makes a mistake once or twice in their life. So I don't judge one thing on the post. But if you've got top to bottom just craziness, then I'm like, okay, I'm done. So, I guess to answer your question, man, I try to keep an open mind, and to be quite fair, I mean, I've logged into people's Facebook and seen a marijuana leaf in their top part. What do you call the top part of the Facebook page?
The cover photo.
The cover photo. That doesn't turn me off right away. I mean, it's different times, that doesn't scare me away. Now I'm going to have a conversation with them and say, listen, you can't do that at work, but I don't control what you do outside of work. And the people that work for me now, I mean, I'm sure I have plenty of people when they go home, they're puffing it up.
I'm sure you do too.
And that's fine, as long as they keep that separate from their work. Yeah.
Well, on that being said, Taylor, one thing that has always been a concern to me on my end is like the security breaches. I mean, especially when people are hacking in these days. I mean, you got foreign countries hacking in. I mean, this is the part.
Facebook debacle.
Oh yeah, even that.
Yeah.
So overall, on that being said, are you saying that yes, we should all put our information all on these sites, or should it be more like, hey, let's keep it kind of controlled? I mean, what's your perception on that?
To be honest, with, like you were saying, so many security breaches, privacy issues that seem to be happening so often, I think we need to be a little bit more on the cautious side of things. Just for example, the one example that I think of, the Snapchat map on Snapchat. If you have that enabled, people can see where you are basically at all hours of the day.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Serious.
Like down to the street that you are at.
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh, I need to figure that out. I guarantee you can find me right now. That's scary.
I'm on ghost mode. Don't worry. You don't know where I'm at.
Sorry, Taylor. Didn't mean to cut you off, dude.
Something like more like enemy of the state kind of thing. Watch out.
Yeah.
We know where you're at.
But that's an example, whether it's just posting your location on Facebook. You just have to be more cautious because, not everyone out there is a good person. There's people that want to see you fail, and they'll go out of their way to try to make that happen. So.
Also, I wouldn't trust things like I would never pay people through Facebook, because there's like a way that you can pay people through Facebook, through Snapchat, through all these social medias. I don't even put my phone number on there. Like, is that serious to me? That's not about to happen. Or like, don't put money on there because you don't know who's following you. You got hundreds of dollars. I got one girl okay, go on.
Sorry, you're fine. I actually saw that millennials are now becoming one of the larger scammed groups of people now. We always think, computer scams are hitting the old ladies and old people, but they're coming, and it's mostly people are buying stuff that's not getting sent out, and there's no way to get money back because it was overseas.
Fake site or something?
Just
Through
fake boutiques
social media.
And through various things like that, connection, Facebook Marketplace, stuff like that, where just isn't happening and people are getting scammed. But it's the younger folks that typically, scammers are always going to be looking for that next edge. Like, you figured out that one? Well, we've got plenty more where that came from.
That's right.
Yep. Well, that being said, let's look at it in a more interaction purpose. So, for example, social media. Do you agree, Brent, or disagree, and Chris as well, that social media even plays now in interactions, in relationships, in couples, in people in general? Do you feel that social media can also hinder and affect marriages, relationships? I mean, what's your perception on that?
Again, I'm the guy sitting back creeping, and I love nothing better than when I see, and might be weird, but I like to see people fight on Facebook. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's maybe it's my television.
Like right? Relationships or just like trolls fighting in the comments?
I don't really like the trolls. Like I'm the type of guy on the trolls that I'll log in there and I'll actually say something, can defend people on that part of it. But like the relationship side of things, where you see, it could be a guy or a girl say, screw this guy, I'm done. And then, the next day, I love my boo. And, we just went to Dairy Queen and got us a sundae.
Dairy Queen.
Yeah, and all this stuff. So, I mean, man, it is a train wreck that I love to watch. I really do. And I probably got something wrong with me, honestly.
You do, but it's all right.
I like it.
Definitely
I
is a
like it
source
too,
of
though.
entertainment, though.
Yeah. Because you're like, well, what are y'all probably sitting next to each other having this argument through social media,
Yeah,
huh?
it's reality TV.
I feel real quick more bad when the relationship's like, hey, I put a picture, you didn't put a like on it. What's wrong with you? And arguments would start like that. I mean, that's
Or like,
you had one of those.
or like you liked her pictures, but you can't like my pictures.
Right.
We supposed to be together, but you can go and like her stuff, but you can't go and like my stuff. Can you tell I've had this argument before?
what were we gonna say, Chris?
I was gonna say, I mean, with the whole privacy thing, I don't post a whole lot of stuff on, and my wife is totally okay with it. She's not a big poster either, but there's a lot of relationships where I'm just like, guys, come on, we know it's your anniversary. Happy anniversary. You can leave it at that. You don't have to post a letter on Facebook. Like, write it down and give it to the person that you're caring about.
Dude,
we know you love them. You're married, or
Yeah, that drives me crazy. You know what's crazy too? I don't really wish people happy birthday on Facebook.
Oh, me either.
If I know you, then I'm gonna text you. I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna see you. I'm gonna say, hey, happy birthday.
Same
But
way.
it kind of just drives me crazy. Like when I get happy birthdays on Facebook, like from people that you haven't messaged me all year, and you say happy birthday. I appreciate it, But
good job, Facebook, reminding them.
that's right. You don't know my birthday.
Oh, yeah. And indeed, on that being said, I mean, that's my opinion. That's one of the reasons why I stay away from it. It's just because at the end of the day, if you see your significant loved one or the person you're in a relationship with, there's a time and a day and all that. I mean, it's okay to post a little here, a little there, but I feel that you don't have to always be on social, because I feel like, again, it's seeking that validation. Look what we're doing, painting a picture perfect in my eyes. Mm-hmm. Some is pro, some is con, but at the end of the day, I mean, it's just based upon how that person feels.
There's also that whole issue of you can see when people are on Facebook, or you can see when people have been on Facebook. So then there's the whole issue of, so you posted or you've been on social media,
Why
but
didn't
you
you
can't
message
text
me
me back.
What's
You can't call me back. You ignoring me for what?
You know what's crazy about that too, Bree, is I've got coworkers that work for me that add me as a friend on Facebook. Don't add your boss on Facebook.
don't.
I can
Don't do
see
that.
when you're on your phone and you're not working. Don't do that. Don't put me in that position. You know what I mean?
I had that problem
or when
too.
you
a
just
lot.
trash the business on your Facebook.
I've had that problem too.
Oh my goodness.
Don't do it, you guys. Just don't do it.
Please don't do it.
So pretty much to summarize this out, so what we learned out of this is that it's a good thing and a bad thing. There's a gray area in all this. So Taylor, on this being said, when it really comes down to it, in your opinion, I'm going to ask you, how are you viewing social media going forward? Because as technology is progressing, it's just getting enhanced. It's getting better. I mean, it's just growing so fast. I mean, we're going to start losing certain things that we're taking for granted now and just relying all on technology.
Yeah, like you said, this social media is just going to become more and more advanced. And I feel like as that happens, there's a chance we start to lose connection with, good friends, family members. We're just communicating through social media. So, in my opinion, we do need to. I'm not saying not to use it. I think it's good, but we need to there's a fine line between using social media recreationally and just exclusively relying on social media for interactions.
How about you, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, a long time ago, you used to have to sit down and talk to someone or pick up a phone that was connected to a wall.
That's right.
So if you're going to talk to them, you're going to use that time efficiently. You're going to sit down and this might take a while because I'm only going to talk to you probably once for the next few months. I'm not going to be able to blip in every so often. And I read an article where today's people are feeling, the millennials right now are the loneliest generation. They feel more lonely than, even though they're more connected. And I think a lot of that is face to face. I mean, we're humans. We are, pack oriented. I think there's a lot of human contact that we lose. Even though we're more connected, we've lost a lot of human contact. Mm-hmm. And like you were saying in interviews, they don't know how to talk to you face to face. Like, don't look me in my eyes. I'm used to looking at something that doesn't look back.
Feel violated.
Right.
Yeah, they do.
You look, yeah. So, although I think it's good, there's ways to stay in contact. I think it's gone a little far. I mean, I'm sure it's going to go further. Maybe I'm just getting old. But I think that also people are learning to be more careful with it, that maybe it's not need to be the window to my soul. Maybe it's okay if you just see my face with it.
Indeed. What about you, Brent?
I mean, I listen, I like it. Again, it's entertainment for me. I get to stay in touch with family members that don't live here. And, I love when my grandma messages me at 11 o'clock. That makes me feel good. So I'm all for it. You just got to do it with it like anything else. Just do it in spurts. There's times I take a break, and then there's times that I'm on there. So it's a good thing to me.
And how about you, LT?
See, I'm a private person, even though I delve in the public sector. One thing that freaks me out is facial recognition technology on Facebook. I don't personally post a lot of stuff, but I may get caught in the background of somebody's picture, and Facebook finds me and it automatically tags me. And I'm like, I didn't want you to do that. And then also, I like to go out and have fun, and I get caught in a lot of people's snaps, even though I don't personally have Snapchat. So I have people that'll come up to me and say, "Oh, you're friends with so-and-so. I see you in the background of their Snapchat." And I'm like, okay, kind of weird. you know? But, for the most part, it's how you use it. It's how you use it. Use everything with moderation. And if you use it properly or intelligently, or carefully, it's a good thing. If you overindulge, if you're looking for self-satisfaction, self-gratification, too much, then it can be a negative thing.
How about you, Bert?
Yeah, I personally have learned what I kind of want my boundaries to be with my privacy for social media. There's stuff that I will and won't post. So there's like stuff that you will never, ever, ever, ever see come out of my any of my social media. But I mean, like Brent and like Chris said, there's a reason why it's hard for people my age and younger to talk to people. There's a reason why we can't really hold conversations. I used to be that person who couldn't look people in the eye. It took a job telling me that I had to look people in the eye to be able to look people in the eye. So, I mean, yeah, social media is good. My uncle and my little niece message me on Facebook every now and then, and it brings a smile to my face.
For sure.
But like everybody said, moderation. That's kind of with everything. You don't get addicted by moderating.
And on my end, I mean, overall, it's social media has its pros on it, and like I said, it's awesome to hear from your friends, your loved ones, and also when you're looking at social media on the business side, when businesses are promoting out like coupons or events that are coming up, I mean, that's nice to check out. On the other side, especially when it comes to personal relationships, again, I can emphasize on that. I feel that social media is not you know, it's your business, however you want to do it. But personally, don't put your business out there. I'm old. Take care of it, not having to use social media. Because like what Brent was saying, you're going to give this guy more opportunities to check you out because he's liking the fact that you're writing all your personal problems and you're trying to get everybody involved. And I mean, to me, it's just, there's just times that use it efficiently. And then if it's something that's more personal, you guys, I mean, be grown about it. And if you're still young, okay, I get, you'll learn later on. But that's my perception on it. So.
Cool.
Well, I wonder if Sky Trampoline Ernie has a Facebook page.
I'm gonna go check. Let's
think they
do
got a
that.
Facebook
I'm gonna look up their whole profile.
I'm gonna go like it.
I think Sky Trampoline does.
They do.
Yes, they do. Visit their Facebook page. Ours too,
Yeah, please do.
but in moderation.
No, every day.
Subscribe.
It's okay to get addicted to us.
Just us, though.
Yes. Please, you guys. Speaking of that, hey, practice what we preach, right? Like and subscribe us, you guys. Well, you guys. So this was pretty interesting, and again, thank you guys for coming back, and let's just keep it going. So we're about to sign off. LT, you got anything to say?
Man, it's good to be back in here with you guys. Great conversations.
Yeah, make sure you put down if there's anything else you want us to talk about in the next coming up episodes. Make sure you comment and like us.
Yeah, it's great to be back talking about such relevant topics. Give us your suggestions, and we'll have a great one next time.
Yeah, I just want to thank Sky Trampoline and Ernie again for believing in us, trying to grow this thing. So appreciate both of you guys.
Piggyback on everybody. I like what I do here, so let's keep it going. That's it.
All right, you guys. So please, again, follow us on YouTube, Razor Cut Information, and also you visit us on our webpage, razorcutinfo.com. We also have some other channels that are going on. Right now, we're still giving away tickets for Joker, the movie. So if you guys haven't seen it yet, hey, like and subscribe on Wichita Vice and follow us. Other than that, guys, thank you for listening to us. Have a good one. We look forward to hearing from you guys the next time.
Later.
Adios.
Sayonara.